everybody, how's it going? This is Big Lair here, Jack's Private Coffee Corner. Today is January 27th. It's a Monday here in Japan. Got some nice cold weather that rolled in just a few hours ago. I'm looking out the window and we got some rain that almost sounds like snow. It's quite cold. It's near freezing right now. Wind has picked up. I guess we've finally gotten winter. We've had a pretty warm time here. Temperatures, I guess, for December and end of December and all of January so far have been like March. It's really felt like spring, but I guess we're going to have a week or two of some very intense cold and possibly snow, which is fine with me. Okay, so today is January 27th. I want to talk about three things today. Cryptocurrencies, the coronavirus, and Kobe Bryant. These are three very interesting topics and maybe could be related somehow. So let's get into it. Let's talk about cryptocurrencies first. What's going on with the crypto market? Well, not too much. It's pretty boring if you ask me. You know, I write down the prices almost every day. I've got about 14 different metrics that I look at. Everything from, you know, the price to market cap, trading volume, all that stuff. Looking at Bitcoin here, you know, from last Friday to today, which is Monday, price is only up like 3%. Hasn't done much. Over the weekend, it was down. Everything seemed to be down over the weekend. And then when I got up this morning, the morning of the 27th for me, prices were up, so that's pretty good. But it's been very, very boring. You know, Bitcoin's up was almost up 10% this morning when I got up. Veritasium was up 14.29%. Let's see, Theta was down. You know, comparing last Friday's price to today's price, it's down almost 4.5%. Nothing really going on. Kind of boring. You know, I'm waiting for my three amigos, Neo, Tezos, and OMG to do something. Tezos, you know, kind of does its own thing. Waiting for Tezos to either go up or go down. If it goes up enough, it's getting pretty close to one of my sell targets, so I'm happy with that. And so it can do that, or it can go down. Needs to drop down a little bit to hit one of my buyback targets, so I'm cool either way. Neo's not doing much. It's hanging around. It won't break that $11 mark, huh? I want to see it get back up to 12, but I'm patient. That's okay. Neo and OMG are not doing much, but they've been good to me in the past, and they'll be good to me in the future, I'm sure. What else am I watching here? Not too much. You know, Veritasium, you know, the news of Reggie Middleton and all that with Veritasium has made Veritasium even more attractive, in my opinion, because if you've been watching it over the last 2 weeks, you've had some fantastic chances to trade this coin. There have been some big moves day to day, you know, over a 24-hour period. You know, you could have, there were days you could have bought it around $4 and then watched it go up over $5, sold it, waited for the next day, you know, the next 24 hours for it to go back down near $4 again and buy it back and let it pump up and sell it again. There were a number of days where the price increased or decreased anywhere from 50 cents to over $1. So at the current price of, well, when I checked this morning, it was $4.64. It may be different now. I haven't looked since, oh boy, it's 3:30 here. So it's been about 9 hours since I've checked the price. I'm not one of those people that sits and looks at my phone every 10 minutes to see what the prices are. So the price I've got came from 9 hours ago. This morning, $4.64. And I'm guessing, you know, Veritasium will continue to go up and down to allow for some very profitable trading on it. This would be a sweet coin to trade. I've been talking about this with my patrons for the last 2 weeks. Hey, if you can get your hands on some of this stuff, I would recommend it. This isn't trading advice though, right? I'm not a professional investor. I'm not a professional trader. I don't give advice or make recommendations. This is just for educational and entertainment purposes. So if you wanted to be entertained or educated, I would say Veritasium would be a very good coin to do that, to educate and entertain yourself. Now, one of the things with Veritasium is it's hard to get a hold of. It's hard to get a hold of. What exchanges can you get this coin on now? So that's the other thing. You know, it has very low, let me switch over to my next chart here. Yes, has very low liquidity, which brings me to a second topic I want to address. There is this issue of trading volume. Is the trading volume that's published accurate or not? I did watch a video, which I don't have access to right now. I should stop this and find that information out. Just one second. Okay, I just jumped back over to my YouTube app. I found this. There's a channel called Wax, W-A-X, and this guy had 2 crypto trading tips that will put you in the top 10% of all traders. Some title like that. Anyway, he brought up 2 very interesting topics, things that I've talked about in the past. And the first one is trading volume versus liquidity. Now, I've been charting 18 different cryptos now for, let's see, for my patrons, it's been over 3 months. Just for myself, it's been over 7 months. Yeah, 7 months, daily prices and all kinds of stuff. And I've noticed some very strange things. You know, you can have a coin like Tezos, for example. Tezos, okay? Let's see, today it's trading volume, or yesterday, I took these numbers last night. I tend to take trading volume at night just to break up all of the information and figures I'm putting in my charts. So Tezos, as of last night, its trading volume as a percent of market cap was 0.58%. Not a lot, not even 1%. And then you can have a coin like Litecoin. Now the trading volume of Litecoin currently is 62.92% of its market cap. I've seen Litecoin at 120% of its market cap, and that will only move the price $3 or $4 one way or the other. You know, percentage-wise, that's not a huge amount. However, Tezos, I've seen it trading at, 1% of its market cap and had big swings of like 30 cents. Tezos is only about $1.53, or it was this morning. So a 30-cent move on Tezos is a heck of a lot bigger than a $3 or $4 move on Litecoin at 50-some dollars. How can that be? Tezos doesn't even have 1%. The trading volume is not even 1% of its market cap, whereas Litecoin can have the trading that's 120% of its market cap. So for a while now, I've been thinking, what's going on? Something's not right. I'm not getting all the information. So this video by Wax, W-A-X, I highly recommend it. It's short, sweet, to the point, and it brings up 2 important topics that I've been thinking about a lot, more than 6 months now, which is why I'm tracking these things. So we have the issue of trading volume. Is the published trading volume accurate or not? And in the video, this individual, I don't know what his name is. Maybe he told his name. I don't remember offhand. I like to give him a shout out, but I think I'm helping him out by saying Wax, W-A-X. And I already mentioned the title of the video. He's talking about a study that was done, and this study concluded that possibly 95% of the trading volume on Bitcoin is fake. It's bullshit. It's non-existent. And that coincides with information that I've gathered on my own by looking at these cryptocurrency and trading volume figures for over 6 months now. It makes me wonder. Now, I've been on exchanges. I've been on exchanges here in Asia where I've sat on the exchange for 30 minutes to an hour, and let's see, Bitcoin, Litecoin, trying to think of other coins I've seen, Bitcoin Cash, for 30 minutes to 60 minutes, there was no trading volume whatsoever. And there's a way to see that, right? You can see if you go on a big exchange like Binance, you'll see, you pick a certain pair, let's say Bitcoin and Tether, and you can watch all the trades as they're taking place, right? People who've put in, okay, I want to sell my Tether for this much Bitcoin, or I want to sell my Bitcoin for this much Tether. You can see all of those trades as they're put in, and then you can see the trades that have completed on the other side of the screen. And it's very busy. It's very busy. However, on some of the other exchanges that I've seen, you'll sit there and see nothing. It's 30 minutes to 60 minutes. There's not one buy order, not one sell order. And so I've wondered to myself, and this website is publishing that they're doing a trading volume of X amount of yen or X amount of Korean won, or in X amount of dollars or euros or whatever, and I'm sitting there and for an hour nothing happens. So I've been very suspicious of the trading volume issue, and I don't use CoinMarketCap when I get my numbers for trading volume, just because I found a different app that seems to give, I could be mistaken, that seems to take these Asian exchanges into consideration when it makes these numbers up. So sometimes the trading volume I get's a little off from what CoinMarketCap has, but I'm very suspicious of the trading volume numbers that are listed, and I'm going to really dive into this a lot deeper because I want to know what's really going on. Now, then we have to look at the issue of liquidity. Now, CoinMarketCap, I guess, is probably aware that there are fake numbers out there. And so they have something now called adjusted volume, which is the true liquidity, supposedly the true liquidity. I haven't looked at this myself yet, but I've heard from other people that the adjusted the adjusted volume, which is liquidity, is very different from the trading volume. Now, those should both be the same numbers. So it's very funny they gave the name adjusted volume there. But it's very different. So that's something that we really have to keep in mind. And there is a website that was given. Let me see here. Messari.io. So MESSARI.io. And that's supposed to have liquidity listed, or as CoinMarketCap now calls it, adjusted volume. So that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Just imagine for a second, if the Bitcoin volume is really only 5% of what whoever is telling us it is, only 5%. So actually that would make a lot of sense to me, because like I just said, you can have a coin like Tezos today, or when I checked last night, the trading volume as a percent of market cap was only 0.58%. However, even with that low percentage of trading volume in comparison to its market cap, it can move the price a pretty good amount. Whereas, some coin like Litecoin with super high volume, what else? EOS has high volume. OMG has very high volume, and it won't move the price as much, even that high volume. So if some of these coins had fake volume, and it was really just a fraction of what's being published, chop 95% off that number, leave yourself with 5%, and that's the real volume, that would make a lot of sense to me. And maybe a coin like Tezos or Veritasium with these super low trading volumes, less than 1% of their market cap, maybe those are closer to the real trading volume. That would make a lot of sense to me. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that because I think it's a really important issue. It's something that, most people probably just accept CoinMarketCap. And I'm not saying anything bad against CoinMarketCap. I have no idea how they're gathering data and, what the underlying theory is for them to do all of this. I have no idea, what they're thinking when they put these numbers out, how they're gathering the information, what things they're considering. I don't know. So I'm not saying anyone's doing anything on purpose. I'm just saying possibly the numbers that are out there, maybe the numbers from the exchanges themselves are not accurate. And there may be a lot of pressure on exchanges to pump up their numbers to look a certain way for investors or whoever. So just be aware that this issue of trading volume may be severely different than what we've been told. And I will continue to look into this because this is something I'm tracking on a daily basis. Okay, and another issue that was brought up in this video by Wax was the idea of buying and selling slowly. Don't buy everything in one lump, or don't sell everything in one lump. I've had experiences on exchanges where as soon as I have filled out my order, okay, I want to sell this many coins, this is the price I want for them, and before I've hit the buy or sell button, I've noticed the price will spike. It will spike in the direction that will make me pay more money. Either I'm buying at a higher price or I'm selling at a lower price. I've seen this on a few exchanges before I hit the buy button. That's very suspicious to me. Or I've put in a price. I've watched a coin on an exchange. I'm looking at a certain pair of cryptocurrencies and the price is going down. Okay, sweet. I want to buy it. It's going down. I'm going to put in a buy order. As soon as I put in the buy order, everything reverses and now the price starts to shoot up. Whoa, how can that be? So I'm a little suspicious, and I've had the same thing happen when I want to sell. I'm watching the price of a pair go up and up and up. Great, I'm going to sell a couple of these things. I put in my sell order, boom, suddenly that price stops and it goes down. It doesn't go up to, let's say Tezos is at 150, 158, and I want to get it at 159. It'll go to 158, 158.8, boom, it stops, starts going the other way. Wait a second, it just had this upward movement, this beautiful upward momentum. What happened? Now it's going down since I put my order in? And I've had that happen too many times to think it's just a coincidence. So I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but makes me wonder. And so the advice of buying slowly and selling slowly is pretty good. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and try and unload them, because you may not get the best price. Now, especially when you go on these exchanges, now I understand some exchanges may not let you choose your buying or selling price. I've seen these exchanges in Asia. You're at the mercy of the exchange. If you want to, for example, Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's 8,000, I remember 2 years ago, let's see, Bitcoin was like $18,000 at that time. And if you wanted to buy it, the exchange was charging $20,000, $2,000 over the market price. If you wanted to sell a Bitcoin, they would buy it from you for $16,000. They were taking $2,000 on both sides of the trade. Holy shit, that's like worse than organized crime. So be careful when you're on exchanges. I wouldn't use an exchange personally if they wouldn't let me choose the buying and selling price. If you're on an exchange and it'll let you put whatever price you want, hey, that's the way to go. Do that, okay? So just be careful with buying and selling. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to talk about with cryptocurrencies. There's nothing really going on in the cryptocurrency market. I have my favorite coins that I'm watching, and I'll continue to do that. Now, I want to jump over to another topic. This is the coronavirus, okay? Okay, so on to the topic of coronaviruses. Now, this is really interesting. It reminds me years ago there was SARS, there was MERS. Remember that? Those were both a coronavirus, SARS and MERS. And it seems to me that when interesting stories are in the news, something big is about to happen, suddenly a huge virus comes out of nowhere and sort of takes over the news. Is it a coincidence? I'm not sure. But when things are too coincidental and they happen too many times, it starts to make you wonder. Now, I know there are some people talking about, there's big issues in America in the news, and things are heating up, and as they're heating up, boom, this coronavirus thing comes out. Now, I personally don't think the coronavirus story is coming out because of what's going on in America, with the impeachment and all that stuff. I don't think that's what it is. However, the global economy maybe is not as rosy as everyone thinks it is. Things aren't good in Asia, that's for sure. I'm in Japan. Japan had a bubble economy. How many years ago? Over 20 years ago, the bubble burst. It has never recovered since then. The Bank of Japan has tried this and that. The politicians have tried this and that. They're not sure what to do to bring the economy back. And they have lots of problems to deal with. I would not want to be a politician personally. I've met politicians. I've talked with politicians. I've had some very interesting discussions with politicians. Actually, there are so many things involved in running a city, in running a state or a province or a prefecture. So I can't even imagine trying to run a country. Having a cabinet of different people. This person's in charge of finance. This person's in charge of trade. This person's in charge of defense. This person's in charge of, like the State Department or, foreign affairs, whatever, agriculture. There's just so many things that you have to think about and consider when you're running a country. And I've been able to talk with people who run cities, who run towns, who run states, and it is no picnic. It is no picnic. I think the average person, if you had the job, you would quit. You'd just quit within a few months because you'd be overwhelmed by the amount of information you have to deal with on a daily basis. So it's just no fun. So I don't think the coronavirus, is being let out for any reason to do with things in America. But possibly the timing, may be pretty good to distract everyone from what's happening with the world economy. That's just my take on it. Now, these coronaviruses, these are kind of strange things, right? I'm looking at the CDC's website here. They're saying these coronaviruses are pretty common in different types of animal species like camels and bats. Camels and bats, what the heck? And they're saying these viruses, rarely, it does happen, but it's rare that they can evolve and then infect humans and spread between humans. We had that with SARS and MERS. And it's like, wait a second, bats? Bats and camels? Like, how does it get to humans, Which is really weird. And they don't quite understand, why this happens. Well, there's a lot of conspiracy surrounding this, right? With this new one in China, there's no vaccines for it. There's no treatment for it. Now, one thing I will say, if you've ever been in Asia, now I've been in Asia for over 20 years. I've lived in Japan for I forget, 15 years or something. I was in Malaysia for 7 years. Let's see, I've been to South Korea more than, I think 12 times I've been there. And I've been there, as longest I've stayed was 10 days. I've been to Indonesia a number of times. I've been to Hong Kong only once, actually. I've been there 3 times, but only once, I'll say only once because of the length. Other 2 times didn't count. I've been to Thailand twice. So, and I've dealt with a lot of Chinese people being in Malaysia. One thing you have to understand about Asia, for those of you who have not been in Asia, they have different standards in Asia than we do when it comes to hygiene and cleanliness and preparing food. Even here in Japan, well, Japan is pretty good for preparing food. There's still cases of food poisoning in Japan, even with kids' school lunches and restaurants and whatnot. I got food poisoning in Japan once from chicken. This restaurant was famous for chicken. They undercooked it. I even told the chef, I think you should cook it more. And he says, hey, trust me, I've been doing this 20 years. Okay, I ate it. I got sick. Went to the hospital. And they said, yep, you got food poisoning. They did a simple test on me and said, oh, this is from chicken. I'm like, damn it. So, even in Japan, these things happen. In Japan, boy, up until how long ago? I want to say up until like 10 years ago, most bathrooms in Japan, public bathrooms, did not have soap. No soap. And absolutely no hot water. No way. No hot water, no soap, no paper towels. You have to have your own handkerchief to wash your hands. And most people in Japan know that, so they carry a handkerchief around with them. So, and these are even at restaurants. I've been at restaurants in Japan. No soap. No soap whatsoever, no hot water. And that's just par for the course, right? Now some places are changing. Some shopping malls now, if you go in the bathroom, there was one place I went to recently, a shopping mall. They had 4 sinks. One of the sinks had hot water. Only one of the sinks. And they all have soap though. No paper towels. They have these air drying things, which I personally don't like. Now, if you get to a country like Malaysia or Indonesia, I was in tons of places, just tons of places in Indonesia and Malaysia. No soap, absolutely no soap in the bathroom, right? No toilet paper in the bathroom, no paper towels, nothing. And it's kind of disgusting, but some of the places I was in, and this isn't everywhere, it's not everywhere, let me say that, but in the toilet there's a bucket with a spoon, a metal spoon. That's how you clean your ass, and you use your left hand. Sorry about that. Just as I said the word ass, my camera turned off. I don't know why, that just turned off. So anyway, they have in Malaysia and Indonesia, if you're lucky, the bathroom, which is like a hole in the floor, basically you squat over it and you wipe your ass, they have a bucket with water and a metal spoon, some kind of spoon, or no spoon, and you just, you use your left hand to wipe your naughty bits, and then you dip your hand in that bucket of murky water and wash it off, and then you maybe cup the water and continue to wash your naughty bits. And that sounds pretty disgusting, but that's how it is. That's how it is, right? So in many parts of the world, they do not have soap. There is no soap in restaurants. In public, you go out, there's no soap, and there's no paper towels, no toilet paper. So you're sort of at the mercy of nature, so to speak. So just imagine that. And I've been to a lot of places in Malaysia, like I said, like that. And even restaurants, restaurants where you would think, oh, they're going to have soap, at least soap. I don't expect hot water, but soap. No soap, no paper towels, nothing. And you're like, Jesus, it's disgusting. You want to wash your hands with some soap, right? You touch the door handle at least coming in. What was on the door handle, No. So, and I've been to these wet markets that the Chinese have. And I've been to these wet markets in several countries. Boy, these are places where you can buy anything. If it walks, crawls, or flies, as in an animal or insect or something you would find in nature, you can pretty much buy it at a market, a Chinese wet market, and buy the meat and take it home and cook it up and eat it. So, just everything is right out there, just right out there. There's flies flying around. There's no refrigeration. My God, are you kidding? What are you, a prima donna? You want refrigeration? I just told you there's no soap anywhere. There's no toilet paper in the bathrooms. There's absolutely no hot water anywhere. Maybe in a nice hotel there'd be hot water and soap, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a wet market, right? You're going to go and they'll have places to sit down. The table will be filthy. It'll just be so filthy it's sticky. If you put your arms on it, like, oh crap, my arms are sticking. There's flies everywhere, and that's the environment your food is prepared in, and you sit there and eat it. That's just how it is. That's how a big part of the world's population lives their lives. So while this, people may be saying, oh, the coronavirus, it's too coincidental that it's happening now. There's too many things in the news that we need to discuss and hear about, and the coronavirus is now going to change the narrative and make us look over here instead of looking over here at this important topic. And that may be true, that may be true. Maybe that's true for the world economy. I don't know. But I also know from practical experience of living in Asia for over 20 years that people have different ideas in Asia about hygiene and cleanliness. It is nothing like America at all. Nothing at all. You can't believe how different it is. So when I heard about this, a wet market, and I understand a wet market. A guy comes up, he's got some dirty tables out, he maybe splashes it with water. Absolutely, it's not being cleaned with disinfectant or soap or anything. He's splashing it with water. He's plopping down some chickens that have just had the feathers plucked off, and he's hacking up the chicken right there. The guts are spilling all over. He's just scooping the guts off onto the ground underneath his table. People are stepping on it. Oh, you want some chicken? Oh, the guy over there's got beef. He just did the same thing with the beef. He's got a table that's more than likely dirty. It's had God knows what on it, and he splashes a little bit of water, rubs his hand on it. Okay, hey, that's clean enough. Plops down a huge piece of beef. Bam, 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 bam. He's cutting it up. How much beef you want? And it goes the same way. It goes the same way for everything there, right? Imagine those conditions. Those are like breeding grounds, right? These are, it's just a breeding ground for something to go on. So I'm not really surprised that we have a virus coming out of China, whether it was man-made or not. I thought it was just a matter of time before it happened personally, right? And if you live in some of these countries and you talk to people, I've been places where I've been in pretty nice restaurants, pretty nice venues. I've been giving presentations. I've given speeches, all over in a couple different Asian countries. And I've, been taken to nice restaurants, nice places. And I've been to places where there was no soap. And I'd ask people, hey, where can I go wash my hands? And they would laugh at me and say, what do you want to wash your hands for? You didn't touch anything dirty. And it's like, well, yeah, I just shook hands with, how many people, and, I touched the podium and this and that and this and that. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. And, and in some parts of Asia, people are eating with their hands. You're eating with your right hand, right? My God, you're just thinking to yourself, oh man, your immune system's either going to get real strong because you've got all these germs and stuff going into you now, or you're going to get pretty sick. So that's just what it is. So coronavirus, I don't know if it's, if this is coming out at a time that is too opportune for the powers that be, but I'm not surprised by it because I just know how unhygienic and how filthy some of these places are in the world, but that's just what people are used to. That's just what people are used to. It's just everyday living. It's nothing special. There's nothing bad about it. And just think, people have been surviving in these countries, in those conditions, in those situations now for hundreds of years. Think about that. Okay, and the next thing I want to move on to is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, now this is an interesting one. For whatever reason, there are times when I see news articles of things that normally I wouldn't be interested in, but when I hear the story, my spirit guides are just like boom, 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 hey, 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 look at this, this is important, this is important. Kobe Bryant's story was just that. It was, my spirit guides shot up a red flag, and said, hey, this is something you gotta talk about because there's a reason for this one. There's more than likely a reason for this one. Okay, now Kobe Bryant's a basketball player. I'll be the first guy to tell you, I don't really watch basketball. I don't watch sports. If I'm going to watch sports, it's going to be rodeo, ice hockey, or boxing. And once in a while, MMA. But rodeo, ice hockey, and boxing. In my opinion, those are like the three manly sports. That's just my opinion, right? Now, rugby, I did see rugby here in Japan because Japan was doing pretty well in the World Cup. And I have to admit, rugby's kind of a fun game. I enjoy watching rugby more than American football. Number one, the guys in rugby don't wear pads. They still get hit pretty hard, let me tell you. So rugby is kind of growing on me. Rugby might become fourth on my list, but it's not there yet. Okay, so I'm not a big fan of basketball, although when I was a kid, I played a lot of basketball. Now I'm 6'4", so I'm kind of built for basketball. Now Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant, what'd they say he was? 198 centimeters, so that makes him about 6'7", close to 6'8". I'm 6'4", so he's a little bit taller than I am. And although I don't watch sports, I do watch when I see people like Kobe Bryant, like Michael Jordan. Like, I can understand watching someone and, hey, that guy's like the top of his game. He's the best of the best, right? You get these like maybe 2%, 1 or 2% of the population is really good at something like sports, right? And maybe it's even less, I think. Actually, it's even less. When you get to be like sports, everyone likes basketball. Maybe it's like 0.01% are going to be superstars, all right? And Kobe Bryant, he's in that class, in my opinion. You watch somebody, you just go, yeah, that guy was made for basketball. Luckily, his passion was also what he was good at. And so he became this superstar basketball player. Now, man, this guy was an all-star. He was named all-star in 18 out of his 20 seasons. Guy played for 20 years for the same team. Like, this guy was crushing it, totally crushing it as an athlete, right? He helped lead his team to 5 championships. He was on the U.S. Olympic basketball team that won gold medals in 2008, and I think it was 2012, right? Can you imagine being in the Olympics, playing basketball for some other country? I don't even want to say any names because someone will think I'm making fun of that country, but just imagine if you were on any other country's team and you had to play against a guy like Kobe Bryant. Let's say you're, I don't even know, like I'm kind of nervous to say a country name, but okay, let's just say Japan because I'm in Japan. My image of Japan is you got some shrimpy Asian guy. There's actually some pretty tall Japanese guys, even as tall as me or taller. But can you imagine, you might be good in your country at basketball, and then you get to the Olympics and you got a guy like Kobe Bryant you're going against? That would not be fun at all. That would just be a nightmare, wouldn't it? You imagine that guy? Oh, man. So like I said, I'm not a fan of sports. However, I can see someone like Kobe Bryant and appreciate that this guy, he was meant to do this. And it was his passion. And he put the time in to be really, really good at it, right? And I know there's some controversy surrounding the guy. Some things happen here and there. It doesn't mean anything to me, right? Like, I didn't know the guy. I wasn't around him. And whatever happened to him, like, that's his deal. It's nothing to do with me. I do think if you get really famous, like Kobe Bryant, you're always going to have people who will try and take what you got, right? You'll always have that. You always have that. People want to, oh, Kobe Bryant, man, I want to hang out with you. And then, you hang out with them and you see an opening or you see a way that, hey, I could say he did this and, I'll get a few bucks out of them. There are people who would do that, right? And I'm sure that happens to a lot of famous people. So it is what it is. And I won't say anything more about that. However, I have noticed, there are times my spirit guides kind of scream, hey, look at this story here. This is important. And I don't always understand why it's important, but there are times in our history, in our recent history, when too much energy is being put into one topic. Maybe it could be the impeachment. I'm not saying it's the impeachment trial or anything, but there's too much energy going towards some topic, and the powers that be know that they have to dissipate this energy, but they have to dissipate the energy. They want to redirect it and dissipate it somewhere else. And unfortunately, I'm not saying this Kobe Bryant thing, and that's the reason for it, but I'm just wondering, maybe that's why my spirit guides are telling me to keep an eye on this story. It's important. There are times when famous people are taken out because that will take the public's focus off of this story over here. It will shoot it over here and allow that energy to be dissipated. Okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. Like I said, I'm not sure if the Kobe Bryant story is that. It could simply be, helicopters flying in bad weather. Accidents do happen, right, to people. Things happen every day. We just don't hear about it because the people aren't famous. So is it that, or is there more to it? I'm not sure, although I'm being told to focus my energy on this story because something doesn't add up. And I do know that the powers that be, at times, they need to redirect the public's energy to send it in a different direction and dissipate it, to get rid of it, right? Okay, well, that's all I got for you today, guys. This has been Cryptocurrencies, the Coronavirus, and Kobe Bryant. Okay, everyone, I hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, put them down below. If you like this, please give a thumbs up. And I noticed someone gave me a thumbs down a while ago. Thumbs downs are okay. You watched the video and you disliked it enough to give me a thumbs down. And what's really cool about that, you may not realize it, whoever the person was who gave me the thumbs down, but when you give a thumbs down, your negativity kind of works against you. Because if someone sees the video and likes it, boom, gives me a thumbs up, generally they'll forget about it. But someone who gives a thumbs down, they'll think about it, like, oh man, I disliked that video so much I gave him a thumbs down. Yeah, they might even tell other people, I gave this guy a thumbs down. And you keep talking about my video, talking about me, and actually what you're doing is you're bringing more energy to me in my video, which is helping me out. So if you give me a thumbs up, fantastic. If you give me a thumbs down, I'm cool with that too, because you're bringing more energy to my video and my channel, and I appreciate that. Okay, everybody, you guys take care. Have a great week, and I will see you again.